It's Rants O'Clock Kool-Aid and welcome to the Rants of a Barca Girl. My name is Esther, so we talk all things Barcelona here on this channel. So I don't know if you watched my last video, quick one. Our last game was against Real Madrid, and it wasn't a good game. We lost, and I think it was painful for me because we could have won. We played the best of Real Madrid team. Mbappe was of course in form, and I thought he was going to completely, dominate us or completely destroy us. But funny enough, it was just super sharp in the next 20 or 25 minutes. Apart from that, I feel like it was just a normal day for him outside of that. And they played their best 11 as far as I'm concerned. I mean, they have Mbappe, they have Vinicius Junior. Eventually, they brought in Rodrigo. They had Diaz, and then in the midfield they had Tucheni or something. I never seem to be able to pronounce that guy's name. They have Adagula. They had Bellingham, and then even in their defense too, they had Trent available for them. They had Uchsin. They have Carvajal. He's now on injury anyway. I feel like every one of them was available. They had everybody, probably apart from Rudiger, which is still, on. I think he's still injured. I feel like, and it's not even a starting 11 for them at this point. But I feel like outside of that, all their team were available. That was the best Real Madrid team at this moment, and then they had a new coach. So they've lost to us 4 times in a row. So I feel like they had all the right momentum to win that game. That was the best Real Madrid mentally and physically, as far as I'm concerned. And then we went into that game with all of our players injured. Rafinha was not available. Our number 1 goalkeeper, Joan Garcia, was not available. Lewandowski was not available. Omo was not available. Basically, most of top starters were not available. And I actually thought it was going to be worse than 2-1. But you know what? Here is the kicker, because we could have won that match if only at front had come to play. I mean, we talk about Lamine Yamal for at least 80 minutes into that game. He was just not himself, What it doesn't even help that they kept booing him each time he got the ball, and for some reason he just couldn't use that flank that day, and he kept making the wrong passes. He didn't find himself until maybe 10-15 minutes to the end of the match. So I feel like in that game, Yami Lamar was not available as far as I'm concerned. And then we talk about Ferran Torres as a 9. As far as I'm concerned, I also feel like that was -1 for Barcelona that day, because he was just not there. The only thing I saw from him was complain. He was totally off, unavailable. Nothing. He didn't have anything to us that day. Nothing to us as far as I'm concerned, Ferran Torres. But I've always had this belief that Ferran Torres is a super sub. You bring him in as a sub, he performed excellently. It's like he can see everything that is going on, and then you bring him in and then fantastic, But you start him, I've always had a problem when he starts. Maybe it's me anyways. And then now we talk about Rashford. I feel like Rashford was only the decent person we had in that front that game. Rashford was the only guy that performed as far as I'm concerned that day, and he also didn't perform excellently too. He was basically above average. Okay, maybe I would give him like 7/10 as far as I'm concerned. He gave us the only assist, the only assist to the goal that Fermin scored. The only goal we had, rather, he provided the assist that Fermin scored. So I feel like it was only his flank that was working. In that front, Ferran was off, Lamine was off. That was just it. Because if they had been available, I kid you not, we would have won that game. And I don't know if you saw, there was a part which was where I was so mad. I was so mad at Ferran, because the only time you could have been useful in that Clasico, I am sorry, I'm always raw with what I say, was that pass that beautiful pass that Eric Garcia gave you that could have resulted in a goal. All you had to do was just just kick it in, intelligently kick it in. No, you have to just kick it in the hand of the keeper. Very soft kick like that. And I'm thinking, what the hell is Ferran Torres? That's the only thing you could have done well in that game. And maybe that would have been a 2-2. Different chances again, And I think that was the painful thing for me for that game, because I feel like we could have won. The midfield was excellent. See, God bless Pedri and De Jong. They did a beautiful, amazing job. And I figured they didn't get their flowers because of the result, but those guys were amazing that they were amazing. You see those two boys, and which is why it was painful, because Pedri got a red. I wasn't really pained because I figured before we heard about his injury, I figured, you know, he needed that rest. He has been playing non-stop. Like, it's like we cannot survive without Pedri. So now that he has gone, you know, now that he went to get that red card, I was thinking, oh, that's good. If we cannot win Elche without Pedri, then I'm not sure we are ready for anything. And then to now realize that, you know, few days or maybe a day or 2 days later, doing training, that I put a muscle and now he's injured. I think he needed that rest. We need to figure things out. We need to figure out how to play without Pedri, because it's like we built everything around him. So for that game, I was really pained because I was like, we could have won. You know, our defense is what our defense is. You know, that game, everybody knows we need to up our defense. I don't want to talk about our defense because it's like it's just at this point I feel like we just keep saying it. It's like a broken record. We all know we need to buy defenders, but Deco has come out to say we are not buying any defender this season, this transfer. I mean, we're not buying any defender, and I understand because there's no money. So it feels like we have to manage what we have, and in managing what we have, we look at that center back. So that center back, unfortunately we have just 4 center backs. So we have Arao, Christensen, and we have Kubasi, Eric Garcia. For some reason, we don't use Christensen. I don't know, maybe it just doesn't fit into what Hansi Flick wants. Maybe it's too calm. I don't know what the issue is, but we don't always use Christensen. So most of the pairing has always been Kubasi, Eric, or maybe Kubasi, Arao, or Arao, Kubasi. And right now, I feel like because of even Arao ball control issue, it's not always available to use in most games as well, you know. So I don't know. So most of the time it's always Kubasi, Eric, and don't get me wrong, I feel like Eric is doing a decent job as a center back, but come on, we need it. I don't want to talk about our defense. And then so we talk about we go to our fullback Kunde. You know the funny thing, I feel like Kunde has been having an off game for the past 2 games, and it's funny because in the last 3 games to that he was excellent, and then it's just he's been inconsistent somehow. But I don't know. Pade, how can I say that has not been said? It's amazing, but we need a defender. We need defenders. I don't want to talk about it. So for that game, that was painful for me. But now we are playing Elche, and I want to talk about that. That's what I want to talk about. I want to give, like, you know, possible lineup for Elche. So our list of injury continues. Unfortunately, Pedri is now out injured. There's nothing of Rafinha. Rafinha had a relapse, and at the training, and then still nothing on him right now. He's not back training. Joan Garcia, thank God, I think Flick said he will be back against Celta Vigo, which is good for us. I'm particularly happy because that means he will be back against Chelsea on the 26th of November. Yeah, that's a very important fixture. Anyways, Omo is back training, thank God. Lewandowski is back training, thank God. I still haven't heard anything about Christensen because they said he had like gastrointestinal or something issue, basically issue with his tummy and stuff like that. And I have not had anything since then. I don't know if he's back training. I've not seen him. Anyways, that's that for Christensen. So I'm trying to look at that possible lineup for tomorrow. So we go to the front. Lamine still has issue with his pubic area, and unfortunately it's a long-term issue, you know. Flick has said they're going to be managing him well. He has to be playing through the pain. Messi has it, and he was still the best. He's still the best footballer in the world as far as I'm concerned. So I feel like if we manage, or if the management manages Lamine well, he should still perform, you know, at his very best. So I feel like Lamine, of course, will start tomorrow for us in that flank. As number 9, I think we'll start Torres. I don't like him as a starter, like I said earlier, but I think he's going to be Torres. Probably bring in Lewandowski in, you know, as the game goes on. And then Rashford on that side. That's the front. And then we come to the midfield. Because Pedri is injured now, we are going to be seeing a lot of Marc Casado, possibly a lot of Marc Bernardo in the coming days, which means De Jong, Casado, and Fermin, of course, as at 10. And then we look at the back. Like I said, not so much option when it comes to the back. So our full back, we of course be Kunde, bad day, and then center back could possibly be Kubasi, Eric Garcia, or Arao, Kubasi. I don't know. That's center back is something that nobody knows, depending on how we don't have much option anyway. So I feel like that's possibly going to be the lineup tomorrow. And for me, I feel like it's very important that we play strongly against Elche. I know people will be like, oh, it's just Elche, no big deal. But they're number 8 on the table. Guess what, guys? And they drew against Bilbao. They drew against Atletico Madrid. They drew against Osasuna. I think they also drew against Celta Vigo. Yeah, I know they like to draw a lot. But as it is right now, we cannot even afford to drop 1 point. It's very important that we are 5 points behind Real Madrid. So we can't. It's not even something that we have to think about. And knowing how we're always losing against, smaller teams, that's our history. Always losing. I don't even want that to happen. So tomorrow we have to go correct. We have to be fully in the game. We have to get that 3 points. Nothing but 3 points will do for us tomorrow. So I'm thinking that's going to be the possible lineup for tomorrow. And I want us to win string. I'm predicting like 3-0. For some reason, I just keep hearing 3-0. I don't know. I just keep it. So I feel like maybe 3-0 tomorrow. And then after that, we'll be playing Club Brugge at the UCL. But I just want one step at a time. I just want to focus on Elche for now. So we see how it goes. And then on the issue of injury, to be honest, guys, it's quite worrisome. With Pedro injured now, if you know me, if there's one person that I feel like is indispensable to our team, is Pedro. I don't want any of our players injured. But then when I hear, oh, this one is, I'm like, okay, we will sort it. But when the thought of Pedro injured gives me, I can't. You guys don't even know how much I think of Pedro not being injured. It gives me a headache. Anyways, now he's injured, unfortunately. And I think I read somewhere that we're going to be Marquez in. Marquez is an academy player, plays as a midfielder. We're going to bring him in to see if he can take the place of Pedro while Pedro is out. As far as I'm concerned, nobody can do Pedro job, but we wait and see how that pans out. Gavi, of course, long injury, that's still out, injured. Rafinha, I don't know when he will be back. He's not even back training yet. I am just praying. I am hoping that he's back against Chelsea. I cannot afford to have Rafinha and Pedro out against Chelsea. And I cannot stress this enough. We cannot lose against Chelsea. You see those boys. I don't know if you go to Twitter, those Chelsea fans, they are too mouthy. You go and they be like, oh, we're going to destroy Hansi Flick Island. You need to meet us, Casado, Joao Pedro, Enzo Fernandez. You know how they are. They lap. You know how they are. And I think maybe Pamatu will be back. He's been injured for, I think, another 6 weeks. But I think he might be back for that game. And I can't take that banter. We need to win against Chelsea. So I want Rafinha to be back for that game. Thank God Joan Garcia will be back. He will be back. So he's definitely going to be available for that game. And that gives me joy. So just enjoy the game tomorrow, guys, and we'll be back here to talk about the score, match analysis as well, and then our upcoming game against Club Brugge. Until then, remember, good or bad, we rant. Bye, Clays.